live o no? Live o no?
Always great to be with you again in this Signal I Am channel in alliance with Aldea Global. We're coming to you today with another news update on our health, basically, and everything that we can do to achieve a better state of well-being. Today I have the pleasure of having Gaia Stepanian, president of I Am, also master in biomagnetism. She has her operation for many years, the Magnet Lady, and she's today with us to talk about a little bit about detox and all the things that we can do to be in a better, let's say, optimal state with our health. So Gaia, welcome. And we have something to share about what's currently happening. Many people are experiencing contamination from different sources, things that have in their bodies and they want to get rid of. So we'd like to know, like, what's your input on what can be done with this wonderful technique, biomagnetism. Welcome. How are you?
Hi, Kike. I'm doing great. You bring up a really good subject, because right now I'm seeing a wave of new tendencies or new areas in the body that are being affected because of some choices that folks are making and introducing new chemicals into their body, right? And we're not talking about drugs, right, those kinds of chemicals, but definitely chemicals that may be more from a medical place. And so, I think the world is facing right now a lot of choices. People throughout the world are trying to debate whether they make a particular choice or not, in terms of specific treatments and what have you. And I'm finding that a lot of people are now experiencing new symptoms because of some of these choices. And so when you allow something in your body in which you are not sure of what's in there, right, then those substances that are unknowns, we kind of have to wait and see and unfold and give it time. But in many people, I'm seeing new conditions and new symptoms like a lot of bruising going on, a lot of inflammation. I've seen a lot of sort of paralysis or people having a hard time walking. I've also been seeing more anxiety, folks having more headaches. The nervous system is definitely being affected through biomagnetism, and biomagnetism is this wonderful way of being able to tune into each person's body, identify what is in there in terms of toxic substances, germs, heavy metals, and remove them by changing our bioelectricity using magnets. When we use therapeutic grade magnets on very specific places where these germs and toxins hide, the body does this wonderful job of flushing things out. So imagine that we were to travel to the moon, right? That environment requires special equipment. We could not survive in an environment like that. The same thing is true when we change our bioelectricity. In other words, we are made up of a bunch of electric charges, protons, neutrons, and electrons. At the most basic level, that's what we are. And those are electric charges in a neutral state, in a positive state, or in a negative state. And so when those electric charges are imbalanced, in other words, when we have too many positive charges or too many negative charges, we become overly acidic or overly alkaline. What creates that imbalance can be things like germs, so viruses, bacteria,
metals,
parasites, heavy metals, things like mercury, aluminum, lead, arsenic and what have you, cadmium, things that oftentimes we find in certain kinds of chemicals like medications or vaccines for that matter, right? So cat's out of the bag. And what we don't know, we think, well, let me take a chance. However, I am seeing sort of a ripple effect in my clients who have opted to introduce new chemicals into their body. And what folks don't know is that they're also bringing in new germs in their body, several new viruses that don't necessarily serve as a way of protection, but are simply active and are activating in the body. Fortunately, in this time that we've all been experiencing this chaos in the world with, special kinds of health conditions, what I've been seeing is that through biomagnetism, we can help people recover and remove these toxicities and germs without having to take any other additional medication. So biomagnetism, when it alters our bioelectric state, these heavy metals, these germs cannot thrive or survive in our body, and the body does this beautiful job of flushing things out. And so, as you know, Kike, I've been doing biomagnetism for the last 10 years. And in this time, it's been wonderful to see, for example, in recent months, I've seen several active cases of rubeola, and those are from the MMR, right? So as we're inoculating our children, trying to protect them, unfortunately, many times these active germs are in the body. And instead of inoculating, they're introducing. So, I think this is something to be, looked at more in detail, something that we need to explore and research before we make these choices. Now, if we've made choices, then knowing that there are tools that we can use to be able to eradicate and remove these chemicals from our body is helpful, certainly for folks who are willing to go the alternative medicine route.
There's been a word around that when you, for instance, decide to go for some kind of introduction of any substance, that you have only few hours to act to reverse, if you may, the distribution of that substance in your body. So how would you what's your take on that? Do you have to do it like in the first hours that something like that happens, or do you think it's something that can be done rather during in the long term, like to be able to retrieve anything out of the body?
I think that the longer we wait, the more repercussions there are in the body. Some of the viruses that are being introduced in the body through these modalities, these treatments that are being done globally, are introducing a variety of different viruses, one of which affects our white blood cells. It attacks our white blood cells. In other words, it attacks our body's natural ability to defend itself in the face of any kind of infection. And so obviously the longer we wait, the more damage this can cause. And so, heavy metals will go to our pancreas, but they'll also go to the brain. And the longer we have heavy metals in the body, the more we can see cases of aggressive behavior, of anxiety, of panic attacks, of migraine headaches, or even of, edemas in the brain, or
blood
strokes
clots.
And blood clots, certainly. So I don't think that the majority of people understand the gravity of heavy metals in the system. What I have seen through this practice is that heavy metals can lead to an Alzheimer's. Heavy metals can lead to, if we're beginning to see the onset of memory loss, right? Being forgetful. Right? We don't think of it memory loss. Oh, I'm becoming forgetful. Oh, I keep forgetting where I left my keys, or I keep forgetting where was I supposed to go, or I knew I had something to do. But when this becomes a little bit more chronic, then it's a really good opportunity to then say, hey, I need to do something about this. And medications is not the cure. Medications are always a Band-Aid. And unfortunately, what they do is then they harm other parts of our body. So they're a last resort. Truly, they are a last resort. But we can recover this by flushing the heavy metals from our body. Now, there's some really good herbs that can help with this. I think particularly with the things that we're seeing right now, we need to take a more aggressive stance, and certainly something like biomagnetism to help flush things out. The sooner the better. I don't know about hours or days, but I do see that the longer people wait, the more time you're giving for these viruses and these metals to create damage within the body, right?
So how would that work? We know that there's a magnet that has two poles, positive and negative. You apply, we know that you usually will take more than a dozen of those on an average treatment. But by asking the body, basically, where to place those magnets, those poles, and usually the body will speak for itself to where to apply and specifically how to attract those metals in case detect them.
So what you're referring to, Kike, you're referring to kinesiology or muscle testing. And yes, through muscle testing or kinesiology, we can arrive at the information that we need from the cellular information that lies within each human body and extract that information so that we can then apply the treatment appropriately. When we apply therapeutic grade magnets to the places where these toxins and germs are found, then, and using the right polarities, right? Because every magnet has a negative charge and a positive charge. There are some magnets that have them combined. So, there's a technique to this, obviously. And I absolutely love teaching on this because it provides people with the tools to be able to help heal themselves or heal their families or heal their loved ones or apply in their practice to integrate it in, whether it's their Reiki work or their quantum healing work, or whether they're using, tapping methods or hypnosis. Magnets help to bring about a deep state of relax, but also to be able to expand our energetic field. And so we're getting into other stuff right now, but certainly when you apply magnets therapeutically to the body, and we're not talking about refrigerator magnets, so it's very important to understand that we have therapeutic grade magnets are magnets with high gaussage, high intensity, with the ability to be able to have that magnetic field penetrate bones, ligaments, tendons, organs, and be able to help clean and regenerate and neutralize so that the body can flush out. So these therapeutic grade magnets, when applied correctly, can help recover the health of people, whether they've been intoxicated with substances, whether they've had a reaction from a vaccine, but what's important is for people to observe this. If people have had some kind of new procedure done, and once the procedure is over, whether it's a surgery or whether they've had a tooth cleaning, if they're getting an infection or a reaction afterwards, then it's very likely that something was introduced. It's very likely, and unfortunately, those are the high-risk situations. When we go to get, help medically, as soon as we're walking into a hospital, we're being bombarded with germs. And so that is what we need to kind of notice, identify, so that we can then address it. Through biomagnetism and other alternative methods, we can really amazingly remove germs that even cause what are considered terminal or chronic or life-threatening or incurable conditions. You know this, but it's important for other people to know that there is hope, that we do not have to live with toxic substances in our body forever. There are solutions. I would recommend, you can start with visiting my website at themagnetlady.net and look and see how biomagnetism has been a wonderful tool throughout the world to help heal conditions that have been considered incurable. Things like Lyme and leukemia and lupus and fibromyalgia, chronic migraine headaches, things that we don't understand why we have them. But through this method, we can understand why, and we can resolve it and remove whether they're heavy metal intoxications or whether they're germs. So I hope that helps everyone.
It's been very, very illustrative to listening to you about this. We are exposed not only this time that we're living, but we're always exposed to toxins and things that come from the outside. So any possibility of like we said, cleaning, detoxifying is something worth considering, and we think that many people are starting to realize that perhaps, I mean, what they did, or maybe it wasn't the right thing for the body at that particular moment. So there's always this opportunity. Everything is not lost. People can still start their cleansing process, and I think that biomagnetism is the best for this, because it works at a cellular level, like you say. And I believe that many things that we still don't know, unknown, to general public, on many substances. I mean, they talk about liquid metal and stuff like that. There's things that are being processed in many laboratories that we really are not aware of. So biomagnetism is always a great tool, or I would say arm, for to perform and gain stability and balance the body, because it's all about that. It's about polarity.
Exactly. You get, as you mentioned this, the areas of the body that I'm seeing consistently affected through some of the new things that are being introduced into the body are affecting the glands in the brain, are affecting certain parts of the cranium, even testing. There's a lot of medical testing going on right now. Even those tests are introducing things into the body, and in areas here, in the bridge of the nose, in the trachea area. But then the substances that are being introduced into the body are affecting the entire nervous system, all throughout the spine. I'm finding a lot of people with lower back pain, because it definitely is affecting. I'm seeing more people with bloating, more people with constipation, because it's also affecting the thymus gland, which this gland helps boost our immune system, and so it's affecting how our body responds to protect us. It's also affecting the entire esophagus area, the sort of colon area, the liver, the pancreas, and then our gynecological area, so our reproductive organs. Those are some of the areas that are most affected by some of these new germs and toxins that are being introduced into the body by choice, without knowing. We don't know what we're choosing, but this is definitely what I'm seeing. I could see somebody very healthy, and then they go and they have this procedure done, and then next thing you know, their entire nervous system comes up, several glands in the brain, their reproductive organs, and what people are reporting are those things: bruising, some numbness, some tingling, a lot of pain, new pain, headaches, anxiety, mood swings, and some issues going around the reproductive area for sure. So there are solutions. We can remove these toxins, at least from the microbial and heavy metal place. We have tools that we can use. So I hope this helps.
Well, that's great news. We always we know the body is wiser, and we should be always as calm enough, to be able, especially when we're in nature, we can just connect and try to find what's going on, because sometimes the noise out there doesn't let us. So we recommend you connect with your body and feel what it's really telling you. So for any question or comment, please visit us at iam.net, at the International Association of Alternative and Ancient Medicine. If you are a therapist and want to participate, we welcome you. Also learn about our activities. So we want to thank you, Gaia, for leading us in this process, and for practicing such a beautiful technique, the biomagnetism, the use of magnets to achieve a better health. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kike. Thank you, everyone.
We'll see you again very soon. Thank you.